I'm here when I saw that.
We're getting on the other end.
Imagine everything fast.
We used to be the young guys, Raj.
I know.
Huh?
Okay,
I
it's
know.
6 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order and start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Sue, please.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Here.
Commissioner Desjardins?
Here.
Commissioner Burge?
Here.
Commissioner Prunick?
Here.
Mayor Barry?
Here. All right. Item B, public comment, 4 minutes. Anybody? Hearing none, we'll go to item C, presentation from Mike Rentz, Anderson Hackman. Tell us how good we're doing.
Since we're all talking retirement, we have all night. Take our time, go through it in detail. All right, starting in the big book. If you have questions as we go through, just ask. Page 5 is the opinion. So you had a unmodified opinion. You complied with all the generally accepted accounting principles. It says there, your statement's not ours. And we take a sampling of transactions. We don't look at every transaction. Looking at page 18, looking at the total column, you ended up with just over about 19.8 million in equity, which is an increase of about 1.5 from the year before, so that's good. The business type of activities were the bulk of that gain. We'll come around to that in a minute. Looking at page 18 and the governmental activities, the net position in the governmental activities is a deficit about $700,000. All of that's coming from the pension liability, lock, stock, and barrel, just like everybody else. There's no magic there. Looking at page 22, when you're looking at just the governmental funds, so not water, sewer, marina, but everything else, there was a loss of $676,000 for the year. Capital projects had a loss of $175,000. You're putting money away, you're doing the projects now. That's just the way that one works. And then the general fund had a $400,000 loss for the year. If we flip and look at page 79, you can kind of look at that and how that compared to your budget. So your final budget, you were projecting about $1 million loss. You came in at $413,000, so you were actually $630,000 better than what your final estimate was. And you're gonna ask, well, where did the big changes come in? The biggest one was you transferred less out to other funds to cover costs in those funds. Other than that, Public Works Department was probably the next one that came in under budget. But other than that, it's just kind of little bits here, a little bit there, which kind of makes life nice. We're looking at the general fund. Now we can flip over to the colors. Looking at the first one is looking at your fund balance and cash balance of the general fund over the last 5 years. Not a lot of big changes. For the most part, been fairly steady, you know, nice to see. Looking at the blue, that's where you're actually at. The 60 and 120 day benchmarks are the green and purple, so you're under those state kind of minimum benchmarks there. So the general fund's looking good. And that's where if we look at the next one, looking at the revenues in the general fund over the last 5 years, 21 is the outlier. That's where you had a big bond refunding that year, so you had revenue coming out. You'll see the money going out when we look at the expenses, but other than that, you've been kind of flat, kind of stable, which is nice to see. And that's where when you look at the next one, looking at the expenses, you're seeing the same thing. You had the big bond refunding, so you got money in, you turned around and paid it out. Other than that, everything's nice, flat, even, kind of like to see that.
They look identical, Mike.
I know they do.
Exactly, that's what you kind of want, because that means what you're bringing in is what you're spending, you're not overspending. Now we're gonna do a side by side. So if we look at page 25 in the big book, that's the sewer fund, the water fund, and the marina fund. So looking at the sewer fund, it had on the operating gain of basically $548,000. Then you take out the interest expense and add in interest income. You had a gain of $380,000. And then you had some transfers out to end up at about 290. And that's where if you kind of look at the chart, just for the sewer fund, you're kind of, no big swings, that's just kind of how you are. A lot of that gain is just going to the debt payments because debt payments aren't expenses here. So not a lot of swing there. When we look at the water fund, operating wise, you had about a $290,000 gain, interest, everything else gives you a gain of about $180,000. And then you had, here's where things get a little squirrely with this one is you had a capital contribution of $500,000, so that's grant dollars coming in, showing as revenue. So that's upping that one versus what was transferred out. And a lot of the transfers out were going for, a lot of the project costs were all done in the capital project fund where it showed the loss. So that's where the transfers out is, the money went over there to pay for the asset that came in. And that's where when you look at the next graph, the water fund, you know, the revenues, operating revenues and expenses is pretty flat. The non-operating stuff fluctuated this year because of the big capital contribution, and the transfer out dropped because you transferred the money over to the project. And that's looking at the marina fund, that's where same thing. That would have had about a $70,000 operating loss, you know, 72 after interest and principal payments. But here you had almost $1 million capital contribution coming in from the project, which that's what made the gain in that fund for the year. And that's where when you look at the graph, you can see pretty flat except for 23, you'll see the blue bar. That was a big transfer out for the capital project that year. 25, you see the big purple bar. That's the money coming in for the capital contribution for that. So with that, looking at one other thing kind of hit on is, if we look at page 76, I'll summarize it. How is your pension plan doing? Last year, your liability on the pension plan was $5.1 million. This year, it's come down to 4.8. So you're slowly making headway on it. There's not much you can do with it. You're paying what you should be paying, and you're riding the market waves, and you know, not a significant big swings there, but it is what it is. Then the last thing is, on page 121 is, we did have 2 findings this year. A, we helped put the report together, I just call it an FYI, it's there. And then you had a few things that were over budget and expenses. Nothing that concerns me, oh, you're doing bad budgeting or anything like that. Just small stuff, so. That's the short version. Now we can go on the long version if anybody wants. Rod's saying yes, I see.
No, it
You hear
looks
my head
good.
rattle?
This looks
I
good.
have a question.
Yeah.
On 127, and there's a comment in here, the results of our test disclosed instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government what,
Those are the two I just talked about. So we helped put the report together and you were over budget, so you were out of compliance with state law
okay.
because you were over budget. So that's those two things.
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Brief and to the point, Mike, thank you.
Looking good?
Well, I could go like the old days and go for an hour.
Oh, no.
All right, on that note,
Thank you so much. You have a good, safe
have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to approve the audit?
I don't think so, it was just a presentation. That's
Usually
like
accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't approve, but it just accept.
acceptance.
Motion to accept it.
I will move then that we accept the audit as presented.
I'll support.
Moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Prunick, to accept the audit as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks,
Motion
Mike.
carries. Thank you. All right. Item D, consent agenda.
Just about.
Yes,
I know I didn't circle that.
I just was curious on that one. The consent agenda, any questions and concerns, pull anything off?
I did have a couple.
Okay, you wanna pull something off?
Pardon?
You wanna pull it off? You have to pull it off if you have questions.
Okay. I guess what, the DPW and the police report.
Well, actually, okay, please, I was gonna say DPW is in the city manager's report, so we can talk about that then. But if you have,
I just have a quick question on the police department.
we have to pull it off, don't we? Bill?
You probably should, just you should pass the consent agenda with anything that everybody has no question on, and then address those other ones. So I guess it's, right, if Bob wants to pull out the DPW and the police, and just pass the consent agenda with the other ones, and then.
DPW is fine, I don't have a problem with that if we're gonna go through it with Michelle, but I just had a quick question on the police report, so I guess we're gonna have to pull it off.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right,
Pull number 1 for the police report.
you wanna make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we pull the police report out of the consent agenda. Support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens, to pull the police report off the consent agenda and put it as, I'm gonna put it before, old city business, A1, let's just call it, and we'll put it next. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, we'll pull that item off. Now, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
I'll support.
Moved by Commissioner Birch, supported by Commissioner Prunick, to approve the consent agenda as amended. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item A1, the police report. The police, monthly report. Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, the police report. The only question I had is probably a typo, which kind of stuck out at me on January 7th. The mileage is 1,673.
So that, I'm sure that,
That might have been a transport.
They did have a transfer down to Detroit,
oh, that's right, I do remember that.
so I
Site.
think it was a typo.
This is involuntary site transport.
1,600 miles?
Detroit back.
Well, that's
Detroit back is not 1,600 miles.
That's almost 900 miles.
Plus what other,
Closer to
other
8.
coverage.
They had during the day with other officers, would probably all total together.
Yeah, but that still doesn't make 1,600, that would make like
Yeah.
1,200.
Things like that, I would like to see some kind of a comment on the bottom of it, if that's what it is, it's
Yeah.
transport, 2 cars, whatever, so.
Yeah, it's roughly, I mean, just a quick thing, it's about 450 miles one way, depending on where we're going.
Yeah, Ann Arbor is about 350, so.
So we just want clarification for the next meeting as to
Yeah.
what that was? Is
Well, it
what
doesn't, if that's clarification, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. But next time, if there's a major,
For the next
you know,
one.
1,600 miles, it would be nice if we had some comment on the bottom, just put it on the bottom of it. So, yeah, we had transport or something.
Okay,
That was my only question. That's why.
I entertain a motion to approve the police chief's monthly report.
I will make that motion to approve the police report.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens to approve the police report as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Item 1, Elder Park and Recreation Payment. We tabled this from January 21st. And
It was to determine when we would start making payments.
It's a timing thing, so and I remember this, and then I guess I remembered it correctly, was that it was kind of contingent on the township doing the same thing.
Right.
So then, and it says that as long as Munising Township also increases to $15 per person for their new budget year, so that kind of puts a time frame for them, but it doesn't say when you do it. I would say you probably do it at the same time they do it, since it's a contingent thing. But I don't know that for a fact, I mean,
They did it first of the year, didn't they, Bob?
April 1st, I think, is
April
their.
1st is
Right,
when
is their fiscal year.
right, April
That's their
1st is their fiscal year, so I think that's when they're gonna start it. Don't quote me on that, you think I would know, but
no, that's,
I don't think so. I think April 1st is when we're gonna start receiving that, or the first payment after that.
I thought their fiscal year was a calendar year.
No, there's a township, so there's just.
Right.
well, the question is then, do we want to start ours in April in conjunction, or do we wait until our fiscal year begins July 1?
My comment would be, we gotta budget this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I would wait till our fiscal year starts.
Okay, because we come
Sure.
up with about a $2,000 shortfall if we
Right.
jumped in April.
Yeah,
So, we just need to
So
make a motion.
there's a secondary aspect of this too, just because of the dumb luck factor. Munising Township pays one lump sum at that go. We pay it quarterly. So now we've got the overlap of the contract about when the date goes according to how the motion went, which you said is contingent. We also have to see, like, can we wait until the new contract starts with the right payment? Or do we have to start with the two previous payments to offset the costs?
when is, the contract's July 26th, is that when the
Yeah,
contract
July
ends?
24th.
Yeah, so we have additional payment, just because we break up our payments, it creates the opportunity for us to have it. That's one of the reasons why I kind of complained about the way that the motion was made, is because we have to factor that aspect also into where it comes around. I mean, if Parks and Rec just is willing to write a letter and just say we're okay with it the next fiscal year, I don't think it's a big problem, but just, I think the way that the motion went compared to it being contingent on another municipality's group kind of painted us into a corner. That's the reason why this has been so difficult for me.
But it's not clear, the timing for you, so I think a motion would be proper tonight for you to decide when you want to pay it, because that last one didn't really say, it was unclear. All it said was it's contingent on the township, okay, the township does theirs April 1st, great. When do we do ours? Whatever you choose. That's why you're the elected officials.
Mhm. Well,
You
yes,
care about?
the vision I was.
Yeah, I guess I'd make the motion that we start the $15 per capita in fiscal budget, what, 26, 27,
July 1st.
July 1st?
I support that motion.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens to approve $15 per person, for Parks and, I kind of lost,
Contribution.
Per
I
capita.
kind of lost the motion. Contribution to begin for fiscal year 26, 27, to begin July 1st. I think I got everything. Any more discussion?
Sounds good to me.
Just, Bob, when you guys had your meetings at Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
how did this discussion go with them? Like, are they gonna be upset about this? Is this gonna be like something that's caused a
No,
problem?
we actually, that was in our discussion, that the city wouldn't start until the budget year, till the next budget, which, of course, we talked about this 8 months ago. So we just assumed, and we know what that means, that it was gonna start July 1st.
All right.
Because we had the contract, and what we'll do is, at Elks County Parks, we'll get the newer contract to the city by July 1st. So we'll have it here.
In sync, right?
Okay, no more discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item F1, treasurer's monthly report. Not quite sure why is there a reason why this is separate from the consent agenda?
It was pulled out the last time because of the graphs and such, because you had to make a decision on it. Do you want it in the consent agenda, or do you just want it on its own? At any rate, it has to be approved once a month.
That's what I'm thinking, the consent agenda, and then quarterly we'll have the graphs and they can go on the consent agenda as well.
Gotcha.
So I would entertain a motion to approve it as presented.
I'll make the motion, we, excuse me, move the treasurer's monthly report back into consent agenda.
I'll support.
Wait.
Well,
And approve
I need
the,
to approve it.
presented.
As amended.
Okay, and supported. All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prunick to approve the treasurer's monthly report and also to move it back to the consent agenda. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. City managers report. Anybody? Actually, I do have a question regarding the review of ordinances. And Sue, the person maybe can help prove my memory. We did, put together a committee, didn't we?
Yes,
Oh, okay, thanks.
yes. Bryce and I were.
Okay, so, all right, so, you know, we really haven't done much since the committee was formed. I don't know. if you-
Well, we didn't because of Ray.
Okay, so I don't know if you
we
guys want
thought,
to
well,
start this going again? And-
Committee for the charter?
No, this
No,
is
no,
ordinances.
just ordinance.
Oh, the ordinance.
Right.
The review ordinance.
I don't know, if I'm not quite sure on how that should flow. If you guys get together with Michelle and create a schedule, or
Yeah.
how you want to do
I
that.
think that's the best way to do it.
But I think if you guys have time, and I'm not on there, so I shouldn't really dictate anything, but I think we need to get going on it, since,
No question.
so, just you and Bryce and Michelle coordinate that. I don't think there's anything that needs to be approved. That was just my question on this.
Yep. We will get together and do that.
Yeah, that's kind of been the biggest problem, is that it's all been roundabout. We haven't had a chance to actually have the three of us plus Bill, because I know that you wanted to be involved in this too, and your background on that, so. With the ordinance review, that's been kind of hard to figure out the starting point, so.
I certainly want to be involved, certainly to help with the legal part of it. You need to decide which ones you want to go in, which order really, and then we start tackling them one at a time. And I think what I understood was, because we'd gone through that one with the siren, with the.
Ordinance 12.
Yeah.
And,
The public peace
But
ordinance,
ordinance-
there were lots of things.
there were things that were outdated and
Yeah.
agreed, and we need to look at these as well, I think that was the idea.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to do it, so just, yeah, we need to try to make a plan so that we start knocking out one or two a month for the next few months. And I'm happy to review them, yes.
Perfect.
This would
Yeah.
not include the administrative ordinance, zoning ordinance.
Actually, she wants to
Yeah,
start.
not
with
zoning
those.
ordinance, these are the special health, safety, and welfare ordinances, yeah.
And Michelle was saying that she would like to start with the administrative one. So, but leave that to you guys to hammer that out. So, and I do appreciate, I like this inventory of everything that the city has, like the vehicles. So, thank you for that. All right, anybody else have anything? Not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the city manager's report.
I shall move.
Support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Birch to accept the city manager's report. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Reynolds, you're up.
Okay, so Michelle and Dale and Kirsten and myself met a few weeks ago regarding the, increasing the contribution that the DDA does to the city for the different things that the
The DDA?
Public Works does?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the DDA, yeah.
I'm ahead, one agenda item ahead of you here.
Oh, yeah, you're thinking the other contribution thing. No, so there's a contribution that the DDA does, or,
Right.
line item that goes back to the city for the public works work that they do, and so we sat down and talked about those things, and just some other things that we went over. So we had a good discussion there. Partnership, we had our second of our Alger Housing Group meeting. Thanks so much for coming, Rod. And there's gonna be 6 of those meetings altogether. We've got about 15 people there, so we'll definitely try to hit up, they don't last, forever, hour and a half, something like that, but there's just so many things to discuss with housing, and I'm sure we'll get on some different topics this next time. And one that just continually comes up a lot of different times is dealing with parking downtown and the lack of parking, which makes it very difficult to do any development with any types of housing downtown. If you have certain parking requirements, which makes sense, that if you run an apartment, you want to be able to say, I've got a place for you to park. But it's just very hard to meet those requirements too. So I think that's a whole discussion too that needs to happen. We had another meeting with some possible development downtown. We had that a week later, just this last week, and of course it came up again, along with different funding options through the state and through Brownfield and all that. But of course it came back to, again, the first matter at hand is parking. Because until you can figure that one out, you can't ever get to the next step. You know what I mean? Everybody keeps saying, oh yeah, you're parking, but if you can't get that fixed, right, then you can't. No sense in getting funding for it, if you can't do it. So we'll talk more about that, and hopefully they have a good discussion here on planning commission, and I know you got some new folks on there and stuff like that. So hopefully there's some productive conversation there. Was at the Operation Action UP meeting. That's the Lake Superior Community Partnership group that's based out of their organization, and they have a meeting once a month. And this other organization that I chair, Upper Peninsula Economic Development Alliance, we gave an award for nonprofit, Upper Peninsula Nonprofit of the Year, which went to Great Lakes Recovery Centers. Already planning Pictured Rocks days. I know you got your thing that I sent you. I know, it just seems so weird when you got snow on the ground, but really this is the end of February, and I already got the bands lined up. I already got stuff going out to vendors, and already getting those in, already getting sponsorships in, all that type of thing. So the next thing you'll see out pretty soon is graphics and a lot of social media posting and that type of thing. So it's really, it is not hard when you start thinking about it, and of course we got to start planning the annual dinner and that event. Trying to wrap up some stuff with UP Inspired with Match on Main and getting that paperwork into the state. We're kind of going back and forth right now. You're going to see the DDA facade grant applications go out probably a little bit earlier this year than they have before, probably within the next couple weeks. They're going to go out. And then also the city lights, because people always ask me about city lights, or they're commenting on whether it's on social media or complaining to city hall people. So the DDA, we deal with the city lights, and that's part of my ongoing life struggle. Downtown lights. And so I don't know if I talked to you about it. You guys have probably seen on something or on social media or something that one went down where the kind of kitty corner from you guys over here. Well, that was from rusty bolts. Okay? That was not from somebody hitting it or anything like that. It looked like it was from rusty bolts. So I don't know, Rod is our historian here. I'm not quite for sure what it was, probably 20 years ago. Yeah, so maybe 20 years ago or so, or more than that, those light posts got put up. So over the years, in my 15 years here, I've spent a lot of time doing patch jobs, right? The little panels that go on the bottom that you see the wire, how to get those replaced, and specifically made from UP Fab, because the bolts got rusty, and all of a sudden those things would disappear, right? So we got new ones made. So and then you had all this rain. So I got, of course, texts and notices over the weekend that a bunch of lights were out on Superior this weekend and on Elm Street and yada yada yada. So Bob Boucher, Imperial Electric, was in town, and did a lot of work and had to come back today because he was trying to do it in the dark. But it looks like, I don't know if the conduits or whatever, they're getting wet, all this rain, all that type of thing is not helping the situation. And then this summer, it looks like probably what we're gonna do, eventually we're gonna have a larger street project that's gonna do a lot of stuff with the road and the lights, but I can't remember, Rod, when that's 5-10 years gonna happen out from here. You know, it's a big bonded project that the DDA will do. At that time, possibly look at maybe, you know, brand new lights. But in the meantime, this summer, probably what we'll have to do is, I'll probably have to have all the bolts, we'll probably have to get all of those replaced on all of the lights, all up and down Superior Street.
That would be a good time to fix the design.
Yes.
May I
Yes.
speak to this?
Yeah,
The
go
lights
ahead,
were-
please.
We
Yes.
put up the original DDA streetscape 30-some-odd years ago.
Yeah.
Streetscape, which was borrowed from Key West, Florida, which was not a good choice. The Village of Newberry has taken, the approach they use is they have decorative light poles downtown on top of 2-foot cement pillars, reinforced. That not only makes them impervious to getting tapped over by bumpers, it puts the connections up out of the subterranean location they're in now, puts them up on top, so that they're not constantly shorting out. We should look into that.
Yeah, we can definitely
I
look into
would,
that.
I would be curious to know how many we have replaced at the cost of, originally it was $3,000 a piece.
Oh,
That was a long time
that
ago.
was a long time ago. Now you're talking, it depends. If somebody hits the light and they total the light, okay? And you have to go through the ordering process, you got the labor, which electrician, you know, I'm not bashing electricians by any means, but it's not cheap
I
to do
know.
it. You're talking anywhere, sometimes $15,000 to $20,000 to replace a light. A light, you know, if you've got a lot of issues going on. So that was, you know, and then way back 50 years ago, I
And
mean.
it scares me if they're just falling over because the bolts are rotting off.
Well, exactly, you know, so I'm having to check another light post in town that is leaning, and I said, you know, and right now you got so much snow covering stuff up, you don't know, you know, once that melts, you know, the kind of issue.
The other design flaw with the streetscape was the roll-up curb rather than a D curb. So that, you know, people come in to catch their tire on the curb, they just roll up onto the sidewalk and knock the light post over.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that would be nice to fix that design.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay, no, it's
That's-
good, it is good information, but I wanted
Yeah.
to keep rolling.
Yep, so that's it for me,
Okay.
I think.
Anybody else have any, well, you can have another question if you want.
No,
but-
I'm just, this is the
Anybody
reason I
else?
got involved in city politics in the first place.
And I appreciate the history that you know. Anybody else? Okay. Might as well stay
You want
up
me
there.
to just hang
Yeah,
out? I
just
can
stay up
just hang
there.
out, yes.
All right, item number 4, Greater Munising Bay Partnership, /Elgin County Chamber of Commerce contribution request of $25,000 per year. I've talked to Kathy and Kirsten, and I think we're gonna kind of change this a little bit, just because of transitioning and with budget items and whatnot, is to keep it at $20,000 for this year, and then revisit next year and talk about a 3-year contract, unless there's something else you would like to recommend.
Or, well, you could either just keep it at 20 this year and say next year 21 and 20. It's just, you know, unless you really don't know what's gonna go on with your budget, and then
That's kinda where
come
we're
back
at.
again next year.
And I know
mean, I know
it's-
you don't want, people keep coming back.
Right, and I know it's way more convenient to have a 3-year contract, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But I
But-
think that I think
It would work out better.
doing the due diligence on our end,
Okay.
just, and then start it back up for 3 years.
Okay.
Um,
That's fine.
So, go ahead.
I think that's a good plan. However, I got a question.
You certainly.
The only economic development operation in the county, correct?
Yes.
Anyway.
Does the county contribute to this?
No, the county does not
Does
contribute.
Munising Township contribute to
Yes,
this?
they do.
How much?
It's $6,000.
Is it should be a per capita thing or not?
Maybe ask them,
Perhaps.
I
Township?
brought it up considerably since what they were paying when I first came.
Autrain Township?
They used to, let me put this, there's no other township that does. Autrain was a chamber member at one point, which is a couple $100 or what, years ago, and they dropped that. So they do not contribute.
Because I see most of the economic development activity in the future being in Munising Township.
Well,
Because they have the
Munising
room.
Township,
Yeah.
Grand Marais gets affected by the economic development, and so doesn't,
Yeah,
I
but
would say
they're
Autrain.
kind of their own entity over there.
Yeah, but they benefit from
And
how well
we've
we
had
do.
this conversation as
Yeah.
well. I'm willing to go to the county with her. I mean, I've done that horse and pony show, or dog and pony show, for my county I used to work for, just because they're getting a benefit.
Yes, and it's typically county-based, economic development is
Mhm.
typically county-based.
I don't, yes,
In rural-
I was
in-
told by past county folk that they just, they didn't have any money in the budget to be able to do anything. And it's always been kind of funny, not
They're
funny, I
paying an
guess.
animal control officer $80,000 a year. Right.
Oh, wow.
Part-time animal control
Yeah.
officer.
But I know a lot of economic development offices in counties
Typically.
typically are, a lot of people, I think, have got the misconception, whether it's our community or outside of here, that we are supported and paid for with public dollars, the partnership end. And it is not, other than your contribution and the township contribution. So once they get past, because we're half DDA, right? So we get 100,000 there. I'm just gonna be totally upfront and honest with you. We get 100,000 there, my budget's like 260 plus. So I gotta cover the other $170,000 with money, well, different things that we do, whether that's membership, whether that's contractual work that we do, whether that's things, that we have and that type of thing. And the city I certainly greatly appreciate the support that we've gotten, financial support. It's been great, stuff like that, so.
Well, the whole partnership provides a public purpose. So it's, and as we've talked about, like tourism, to me, it always has been an industry on its own, and it's a marketing tool. So there's a couple purposes. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, when you guys are talking about the years, because of the different fiscal year starting points.
Yeah.
The city has already paid the 20,000 for this fiscal
No,
year.
you pay on a quarterly basis, you take $20,000, you will for this year, yes, for this fiscal year.
For this fiscal year,
Yes.
so we're done, or we still have another payment to
You
go?
still have another payment this spring, yeah,
Okay.
this is quarterly payments.
All right, and then you want us to take another year to just chill and get our stuff correct, and then for the 27-28 fiscal year is
Yes.
what you're talking about to set up a 3-year plan?
Yes.
Okay. Establishing the timeline there, I think, is important.
Yeah, and your fiscal year goes right along with our fiscal year.
Oh, that's true.
The DDA fiscal year is July 1, the partnership fiscal year is July 1.
Is the EDC board the same as the chamber board? Are they two separate boards?
It's DDA and chamber.
No, EDC, or the Greater Munising Bay Partnership.
Greater Munising Bay, well, is kind of, I call it the umbrella organization over the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce is not what I would say, it's a DBA, but it's not the legal entity, right? It's
So you just
It's a
have.
partnership.
Okay, but you have a DDA board,
DDA board,
and you have a Greater Munising Bay Partnership board.
yep,
You
and
don't have a
that's,
chamber board?
no,
Okay.
because that is what chamber is, yeah.
Because we used to make a donation directly to the Chamber of Commerce at one time.
That's because it was a different office with a
Right.
different budget.
Right.
Now we're all,
Bill,
it's all
something,
one.
Bill,
Yeah.
something that Rob Ferguson clarified to us, that if the city makes a financial contribution to an organization, we are both entitled to and obliged to have representation in that organization, like we do with Parks and Rec, and we do with the Greater Munising Partnership.
I'm not sure you're legally required to, but I think that you would have the right to.
Yep.
Sure.
I think, well, yeah, Rob's got an opinion floating around somewhere.
But it's always been that way, they've done a financial contribution to the partnership,
So we
and
get
so
a
Chris
board
sits on,
I
Chris
sit on
sits
both
on the
of
board. And then she also sits on the
Could be
DDA.
true, I don't know.
But we've always done that with the partnership board. If we have a contribution like that, I've even asked the township if they wanted to be, you know, but they were all like, no, that's okay.
So
They got enough boards.
We don't have any action to take on
Yeah,
this?
yeah, well, we, to continue because her contract is up, in July.
June 30th, June 30th, so then
So we
July
need
1.
to make a motion to
Renew the
contract
contract
for 1 year.
for $20,000. I make that motion.
Without seeing the contract?
It's not a contract, it's just a
Yeah, we have an
financial
amendment.
contribution, yeah.
Okay, I move that we renew our financial contribution to the Greater Munising Bay Partnership in the amount of $20,000 commencing with the new fiscal year.
I'll support that.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson, to approve a 1-year contract for Greater Munising Bay Partnership at $20,000 to begin July 1, 2026. And did I say for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll see the contract again.
Agreement. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Great, thanks, Deb. Thank you. All right, item 5, early voting location agreement with Belger County.
This is new to me.
Yeah, I've not seen this before either.
The early voting, we had options to either do them in our own different areas or to all go with the county, and we all went with the county so that it's at one location. What they do is, through all our trained workers, they hire them, they pay them, and we're good to go. It doesn't cost really anything for
It
us.
seems a more efficient way to do it.
Yes.
I read it, I don't have any issues with the agreement.
Anybody else? I entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we enter the agreement for election services between the other municipalities in the county.
Support.
Can I get that one? Moved by
All right.
Commissioner Burge, supported by Commissioner Prunick, to approve the early voting location agreement with Belcher County. I know you said more, and she'll put that. So, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Draft marina policy.
I read this with great interest.
It's very thorough. I had one thing that I would like to see added, and that's in, when they, the date that it's due, and I would like to say no exceptions. It's seasonal slip assignments, item 1.
I also had a comment on that, item 1, that we probably, I would like to see mailed to the address on the last application unless otherwise instructed.
That, I think that is in here. I thought I saw that.
It just says it doesn't
It's in
spell
there.
that
I
out.
gotta do a little rearranging to make it closer to
Yeah,
there,
it
but it's in there. So this won't be the final, I've got to do, we're doing some technical editing, but the gist is in here.
Well, there's a, page 7, item 4. It is unlawful for any person using the marina facilities to operate or be in the actual control of any boat when under the influence of intoxicating beverages.
Oh,
And, I'm sorry, I had to look up the word indecorous. It's not a word that's
Where's
used.
that at?
I have been guilty of indecorous behavior.
Where is that?
Where did you find that?
Number
It
1, it's
is-
the second word in number 1.
Oh, there it is.
yeah, we'll
Disorderly
change that.
and
That'll be
decorous
worse.
conduct. I like the word, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good
We'll
word.
revise that.
Something else I wondered, if this could be sent out with the packets, or at least in, somewhere in the packet itself, it's a cover letter or whatnot, to point to where this is located on the website, because we don't wanna,
The idea is to send this out with the renewal letter,
Okay.
so, yeah. So
like,
I
yeah,
got a
that's
little-
it, just as long as they have access
Yeah.
to it, perfect.
I have another issue, and we've addressed this partially. Fishing in the winter
Oh,
inside the L, which used to be permitted. The perch fishing is very good there, but has not been practical over several years because of our bubblers on the floating docks create unsafe ice conditions. And I'm wondering if fishing will be allowed inside the L dock in winter when there is ice. I mean, this just addresses the boating season,
That's true. we should
but
put
it
that
does
in.
make a statement that says fishing is allowed on the outside of the L dock only. So we should address that too, Michelle.
Okay.
Well, that's a little confusing, because it says from fishing will be permitted from outside the L dock.
So if I took my boat in there in the summertime and dropped the line over the side, would that be allowed?
Ooh, good question.
Not if it's inside,
Yeah,
according to those, right?
Well, the perch fishing is really good during the winter time, it used to be.
I'll consult with Eddie and see what his thoughts
And
are.
us retired guys are curious about
Okay.
so thank you to all you guys
Same
that
comment.
put this together.
Retired guys.
I'm just glad to finally have
I
something
think
in
it's
place.
very detailed though, and I think it's
Yeah.
necessary because we've kind of flown by the seat of our pants for a lot of years and it came back to bite us last year.
Yes, so that was information only, more to come.
Okay.
All right, so we are at item 7, city charter revision amendment process.
I'm gonna buy you some nice pens.
Your own next time.
So, will you roll through what this is, or
Well-
does anybody have questions?
Basically,
Or for me too, I mean, obviously we work together on this.
well, it is pretty much spelled out. I didn't know if there was anything more to add, so, I mean, you know, I guess, I don't know, it's tonight first, or we've already decided that the charter should be reviewed.
Did we?
Yeah, did we?
I thought,
Well,
that's
well,
kind of why it came back.
I know I had brought it up specifically because I had people that were talking about the marina. They came to me and asked questions about it, and then in the process of it, they said that they thought that the city automatically did this every 5 years.
Mhm.
I know other commissioners have also talked about changing the rate of pay, and that had come up as only being possible if we changed the charter. So between the two of them and looking at the last time that the group met and the part of the city charter is that we were at the 10 years where it was said to maybe kind of kick it around. Wasn't really sure how the process got started, and that's why I'm really glad that this came through. Because this is really well spelled out, and it cites the Home Rule City Act of 1909 very well and how it impacts everything. This is the kind of transparency that we need if we're going to take on something like changing a charter. So it's a good first step. As far as going over a charter, I would like to see a committee brought together. I think that having the public come in and be a part of that is gonna be grounding in a way. I know that we've all got different types of people that reach out to us about issues, and the 5 of us represent the best that we can, but trying to get people directly from the community is gonna add some depth to this.
I think this recommends that too.
Yeah.
And we actually do that when we've done the rec plan. We've had,
But also you need to consider, when we revised the whole charter the last time, 9 people had to be elected to be a charter commission. Now, the study group, to my understanding, Bill, you do not have to be elected, they're just studying what they think we should change.
That's the way I understand it, but it's very vague. I mean, all it's saying in there is that you may review this every 10 years, and then it just says there's a study group. It doesn't say what it's composed of or anything, so you have a lot of flexibility there.
So, I know Kelly Hall was one person that said, hey, it's almost been 10 years, we need to go through this. So possibly reaching out to people that were already on that charter commission, which already have a handle on, have gone through the process, might be one way to do it, but I'm not sure how you want to start it. If everybody has their own specific thing they want, and are you going to do a revision of the whole thing? Or are you just gonna amend something here, or
Which is
amend
much
something?
easier to amend it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think you'd re-adopt the whole thing, no, I would think you'd amend certain things, unless it gets to be too much. Usually, if you start amending so many things, that it makes more sense to adopt a new charter, but I would say that you amend it. So the first step you have to do is make a vote of this board tonight if you want, that you even want to do this. And then you need to make a decision as to how you're gonna put that committee together. You probably should advertise in some way so that everybody has an opportunity to say they want to be on it, and then you can go back and decide how many people are going to be on it.
And also, the charter commission, once they were on the commission, they were paid.
Yes.
You have to, now, start a study group, I don't know, are people gonna expect to get paid? Or, I mean, that's something you're gonna have to decide too, because Kirsten has to budget that also.
I have a copy of the 1915 charter and the 1958 charter, and this replaced the 1978 charter, which leads me to believe that it doesn't have to be
Every 10 years.
revised every 10 years. But on the other hand, the world changed slower between 1915 and 1959 than it changed between 1978 and 2016, and it's changed even faster since then, so it may be appropriate, I don't know. I just got bored the other day and read the charter cover to cover again, just so I knew what I was talking about. And I didn't see anything that struck me as being in need of attention, but that's just my opinion.
And also, we had the city attorney at that point with us the whole time
Yeah.
because of the legalities of everything.
That would be some extra expense too, I would assume.
Do we have to have a review commission? I mean, we can amend this or look at amendments. Can the commission look at amendments?
Yes.
I don't know, because it does say in the charter that you'd have this review committee to make recommendations, so.
Yeah,
I
but it
don't
says
know
you
if it's-
may
That's
have
for,
a review
right,
committee.
may
That's
have.
true.
And the
Right.
procedures for amending the charter are still in the
Statutorily,
charter.
right, statutorily, it doesn't say you have to have a committee at all. I mean, you could recommend it. At the end of the day, it has to go to the voters to be
To be approved.
Right.
in an election.
It also goes to the attorney general, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that does say that in here
Yeah,
too.
I just wanted to make sure that I had, I knew of the last one, we had to send the whole thing down there.
That makes sense, because they're the ones that would be
So if we, so for instance, if we have a study group,
Yeah.
can the commission be on that study group?
Doesn't say we can't.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Back to this, that it's very vague in what it's saying. It's not, it doesn't have in your charter the composition of the study group. So that means it's pretty vague. I would say that you could, as long as you don't have a quorum. It can't be 3 of you.
Right.
It could be 2 of you, though. I would suggest you do have some of you on that group. It'll make it go better, for sure.
So then the commission could basically ask people, like John, would you want to be involved? That's an example.
Is he volunteering?
Is he retired?
He's volunteering.
I thought I saw his hand go up. Maybe that was just me.
There may be another option though too. With, Roddy said that the world's changed a lot in certain times. So has technology.
Yep.
It may just be worthwhile to put up like a survey or a Google form or something along the lines, just to say, hey, is there something in the charter? Cite it. If it's not cited, we can just disregard it. But that way we can see if there's a desire from the community to look at it, and then we can use that as a better way to see if this is something that we can or should do. I mean, ultimately the thing is that as long as it's transparent, I don't have a big deal. I know the pay was the only thing that I remember that was specifically listed, and I'm kind of hit or miss on that. I don't necessarily think that we've got the money to give us a raise, but at the same time, we're pricing people out of being able to serve the community at the same time. Because $35 a month is not going to pay for the babysitter to be at these meetings. So.
And $45 a month since, actually it's
He's
been
probably
$15
forever,
$15 for a second meeting
it's-
since 1958.
I made more money reffing volleyball this weekend than I did the entire calendar year for the city commission. So, like, I mean, there is scope and scale with that aspect of it, but again, we're not here to make money, we're here to serve. So, like, if it's also at a point where we're not getting the true community, and we're not able to get people that are struggling, we're not able to get people that are able to take time off of work, then are we really getting the full
Well,
voice of the
you know,
community?
I think we're getting away from what we need to accomplish tonight, though. I think we need to just determine if we are moving forward, correct?
Well, the agenda item is fairly vague. I don't know if we can move to appoint a study committee.
I think you can vote to have a study committee, I mean, that's what we're talking about. This is your regular meeting, so you can change things a little bit if you want. It's not a special meeting where you can't add new things. But I think the first vote is that you want to do a study committee or not. I mean,
Right.
then second to that would be, okay, well, how are we gonna determine what the composition of that study group should be? And you gotta figure out how you wanna do that. You don't have to go out and ask the community at all, you can just decide who you want to be on that committee. However, I would suggest that you try to give everybody a chance that.
So
wants to be
if
there.
tonight we made a motion to create a charter revision amendment committee,
Yes.
and then put on the agenda for our next meeting, a discussion on who should sit on it.
Compensation is. In the meantime, maybe you wanna do some queries and see if who's interested in being.
Okay, I'm not.
And not to say that each one of the commissioners couldn't go through it and turn their ideas or what they feel needs to be changed into the study committee. So everybody has a chance to, be a part of it.
So we just have to figure out how many we're gonna be on the study committee and who and just the logistics of it.
Right, so tonight we can just say we're
I
moving
would say
forward.
that a motion tonight would be to create a charter study group to review the city charter.
Okay,
And then you can talk about, like you said, at Rod said, next time around, talk about the composition.
Sure, I'll get above the full front page on the Beacon.
someone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion, we,
Create a charter study
create, yeah,
group to
create a-
review the.
yeah, city charter study group.
I'll support that.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens, to create a charter revision/amendment, study committee. Is there more, Sue?
Yeah, my support is not indicative of my willingness to volunteer.
No, it's not going in there.
And I'm not gonna talk about people being
Bob,
retired.
yeah.
Hold on, you guys, wait, do you have
I
that?
got
Okay,
Yeah.
any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Item 8, lead service line replacement bonding, we don't have any information at this
Yeah,
point,
let's table
so.
that.
we-
Table it or just nothing needs to be done on
Yeah,
it.
okay, information only. All right, getting there. Item G, public comment, 4-minute limit.
Hi, everyone. I am the publisher of the Munising Beacon. We are hitting our 6-month anniversary. In the first 6 months, we have doubled our subscriptions, increased our newsstand by 60%. Advertising was a little rough last couple months, but we're bouncing back just because spending gets tighter over the holidays. I wanted to thank everybody here for their support. Sue was really helpful when we were looking for Michelle and helping us get audio to cover the commission meetings. A lot of my team is working remotely. Sam and I are both here local, but I have been on house arrest since September with bronchitis, so it's hard for me to come out. With that said, I am reaching out to all of the county townships, city commission, just to open the door for feedback if there are things, clearly, we're still learning, on things you might think we should be covering that we're not, things we're doing right. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm here. My father says hi, by the way, Mr. Descharnes, and you too, Sue, always. If there's anything else that I should be covering, we're covering county, we're doing township roundups, we're trying our best to do school board roundups. We now have a writer in Grand Marais, which has been great. Just heard the news this week that sadly the Grand Marais pilot's going to a monthly. So, you know, we're trying to cover everything that we can. Some weeks we're hitting 14, some weeks it's 16 pages, but consistently we're hitting 12. Our digital subscriptions have gone up 3 times. We're almost to 100, or 200, sorry. So it's kind of exciting, it's also overwhelming. I've started to sleep. I'm no longer chasing the bus. I think my foot's in the door at this point, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's slowly going second to film as my passion in life. So with that said, I wanted to open for any of your thoughts or feedback.
This is comment, actually.
Oh, I can't.
We really, it's your
Just
your
that I'm doing a
comment.
fantastic job in office. Okay, well, my door's open, and if anybody has feedback, I now have Bob's home phone number, so he answers the phone when I call. So I'm here. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, next up.
Good evening. So, members of the Munising City Commission, my name is Anthony Actor. My wife and I are local residents of Elgin County, living in Munising Township. I'm also a small business owner in our downtown district, and we're proud parents with children in our school district. I'm here to address a core concern, the conduct of a sitting city commissioner and its impact on impartiality, courtesy, and the community's trust in local governance. Commitment to impartiality and courtesy in public office. Public officials are charged with upholding impartiality and courtesy towards all community stakeholders, including students, families, educators, and taxpayers. The city charter and code of conduct require officials to act with neutrality, avoid personal conflicts, and refrain from actions or rhetoric that undermine public trust or the integrity of the city processes. Specific concerns about improper conduct and interactions. A social media comment attributed to City Commissioner Bryce Burge regarding the school and Safe Routes to School program appeared dismissive of the school district and inconsistent with the standards of impartiality expected as an elected official. The exact comment was after the school fleeced the city on the SR2S, not a fucking chance. Such rhetoric risks politicizing educational funding and undermining collaborative efforts between the city, the school district, and the community. As a result of that conduct, I sought independent information and uncovered an arrest record related to embezzlement and related conviction involving this official. While I understand legal processes take their course, the presence of such allegations raise serious questions about fitness for overseeing public funds and programs. Expectations for handling concerns through proper channels. When concerns about conduct arises, citizens should be able to rely on established processes, formal inquiries, the city manager, city attorney, and appropriate ethical privacy safeguards. I pursued an inquiry regarding the official's past conduct, including requesting an impartial review of whether such history bears on duties of a city commissioner. The expectation is that investigations, when warranted, are thorough, fair, and transparent, with findings communicated openly to the residents. Impact on governance and legitimacy. The impression of partiality or personal bias in decision-making related to school funds, millage discussions, and safe routes to school projects harms the legitimacy of both city and school district. When officials fail to engage with the community concerns in a respectful, professional manner, it erodes trust and hinders collaborative problem solving that benefits students and families. What I am asking the City Commission to do is reaffirm the commitment to impartiality and courtesy in all actions and statements, ensure that all discussions related to school funding, millage proposals, and safety programs are conducted through transparent, fact-based dialogue in accordance with city policies. Support an independent, timely, and transparent review of conduct concerns with findings shared with the public. promote civility and constructive engagement in all interactions, particularly on matters affecting children, families, and the future of Munising. Focus on constructive solutions. Our priority must be the safety and educational success of our children, along with responsible stewardship.
Oh, affirmative.
That's fine.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, guys.
I would make the motion to allow him to finish his statement.
I'll second.
Wait, we gotta go for it. Was there support?
I support it.
All right, okay, there's a motion made by Commissioner Birch, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson to allow Anthony Artur to continue and finish
No.
his statement.
That's not on the agenda.
I wouldn't suggest ever doing that, to
Okay.
break from your tradition, but it is up to you. This is your meeting of the 5 elected officials that you are, and you do have a lot of discretion, so yes, you can do that. I wouldn't, it's a tough thing, because then you get into this fair and equal treatment issue, that what about the next person?
That's true.
And so it's not something I would recommend, legally speaking, but it is within your discretion, yes.
I'm going to take your recommendation on this, because just for setting a precedence. So.
So no more
one's-
comment?
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Anthony. Anybody else?
Well, on a lighter note, not, something that's been not concerning me, but something I want to just bring up for maybe get some facts and information on. I was looking at the budget and the water usage, no, there's not usage, the water premiums have gone up over the last 5 years. Do we have any correlation to the water usage to those premiums? And you don't have to answer that today, but I'd like to see that. I know that's expensive, I know you got benefits, I know you got lots of stuff going on, but we're a household of two, and we had a little leak in the toilet, and I got that fixed, but our bill for our 2 people is over $200 a month. Not complaining about it, it's good service, we appreciate it and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't know how that compares to other communities. Maybe it's low, I don't know.
Well, Michelle, can you provide a copy of the survey that was presented to us?
Yeah, I think we can, yeah, we can,
Okay.
we can info.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, anybody else?
I move we adjourn. Can I jump in real quick?
Public comment?
Yeah. Obviously, when somebody attacks your character,
I'm gonna stop you.
wait, no,
No, I am stopping you, because this is not a discussion, this is
it
a
is
public.
not, it is not a discussion. I want to make it absolutely clear that I don't want to have any part in what the commission decides with that due process. This man came here, he had every right to call me out for expressing my personal opinion, which I did on my own personal page. And I also had incorrect information because I thought the city staff provided the concerns that I had that would triple the amount of the Safe Routes School project, and I was wrong on that. However, the rest of it, because it deals with stuff, I can't be a part of that. And I think it's clear that I need to make sure that I don't. So I don't know what that process is, but the first way to get transparency to, I don't want to say justify because I think that you're incorrect, but at the exact same time, like, I don't want it to be my call. So
I'm sorry.
however it comes down to.
I'm stopping you, okay? You are commenting on his public comment. When it's a public comment, it's a comment. We don't engage in a discussion, and this is borderline engaging. So I'm going to stop on that one.
I move we adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
See that?